Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in today. My name is Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan. I am coming to you live from Warren Field in Brookline, Massachusetts. Here to bring you live coverage of today's high school varsity baseball matchup between the visiting Flyers of Framingham High School and the hosting Brookline High Warriors. Pardon me. Well, it's been a doozy of a week scheduling wise, and this game has certainly been a victim of that. This game originally scheduled to be played on Wednesday, but of course that wasn't going to happen with how badly it rained on Wednesday. And then while Thursday was considered, it was very quickly ruled out once it turned into not just rain but also a bit of snow. You know, those fun New England snow showers we get every now and again. And so then it was moved to today, to Saturday, but not only did the day change, the location changed, because this game was originally supposed to be played in Framingham at Bowditch Field, but then in the process of rescheduling it for this weekend, they moved it to here at Warren Field in Brookline. And so much like yesterday, the weather continues to be cold and windy with the occasional spit of raindrops. So wouldn't exactly call it a great day for baseball. Wouldn't exactly call it a good day for baseball. But you know what? It is a day for baseball. And baseball shall be played. Brookline hoping to bounce back after a tough result last night against Waltham. Brookline falling to the Hawks in 6 innings, 10-0 on the road yesterday. Brookline coming into this with a 1-1 record. Of course, they won their season opener, which was also rescheduled due to a rainout. That game ended up being played on Monday at Newton South, and Brookline opened their season with a win by a score of 3-1. Now here they are facing off against a Bay State Conference opponent in Framingham. And this could be a very interesting game. We've seen a mix of results when Brookline plays Framingham. We've seen games where Brookline gets blown out by Framingham, and we've also seen games where it gets played very, very close. So we know that this is a team that Brookline can keep up with if they're able to play up to their potential. So that will be the task for them today. Once again, thank you all for tuning in today. Remember, if you end up enjoying this live stream, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel to stay up to date on all my upcoming live streams. Brookline will be back in action in just a couple days for another road game at Natick on Monday. That day promises to be a much nicer day for baseball, but if you're still not able to make it out to the field to watch the game in person, be sure to tune in to the live stream. Subscribing to the channel can help. And as always, I encourage audience participation in the live chat. We got our first note from one of our regulars, Barbara Jo Metzger, a very simple go Brookline. Happy as always to see you tuning in, Barbara. And if any other fans want to contribute their own voice in the live chat, you know, it could be as simple as saying go Brookline or go Framingham. We don't care who you're rooting for, as long as you're bringing the good vibes and showing support for your favorite team or for your favorite players. If you want to give a shout out to a player, maybe you're tuning in to support a family member or a friend, you want to give them a shout out. You know, that can be a good reason to participate in the live chat. You know, or maybe someone makes a good play and you want to be like, oh, what a hit, or what a grab, or something like that. Plenty of good reasons. Or maybe you want to let us know where it is you're tuning in from with these online live streams that can be watched all over the world. Sometimes we hear about fans tuning in from different states or even different countries on occasion, so that can be fun. I know Barbara's tuning in from New York, if I recall correctly, just as one example. And so that can be fun to hear as well. On a more important side, if you notice any technical difficulties, whether it be with the video or the audio, we had some brief spots of audio trouble yesterday in Waltham. And of course, we had some more significant issues with my tripod yesterday, which I'm hoping will not persist into today. Since today I don't have to shoot over a tall fence like I did out in Waltham, today should be a little easier. But if there's anything wrong with the audio or video, I encourage you to speak up and say something. You never know, it may be something I don't notice on my end, and it may be something that's an easy fix. And then, of course, if I'm pronouncing any names incorrectly for either team, I encourage you to speak up and correct me. I want to give these young men the best coverage I possibly can, and to me, part of that means getting their names right. And we got some more notes in the live chat from Mary Walker, Go Brookline, and Owen Hoffman from Grandma Mary Walker in Groton, New York. And from Greg Hoffman, loves spring baseball in New England. I'm not going to lie, Greg, as the guy out here in this New England weather, I, wouldn't object to this game being suddenly, spontaneously teleported to Florida. But you know what? We brave the elements out here in New England. And from Barbara Jo Metzger, yes, from Buffalo, New York, where the eclipse will be right over my house. That should be fun. I know I've heard of some people driving up to Vermont to try and get the best view of the eclipse. That should be a fun time. But for now, let's give the starting lineups for the teams coming into today as Framingham wraps up their warm-ups. We'll start with the starting lineup for Framingham. Leading off for the Flyers, the pitcher, number 35, Jeremy Oren. Batting second, the shortstop, number 6, Jace Coleman. Batting third, the first baseman, number 10, J.J. Blanchard. Batting cleanup, the catcher, number 9, Lucas Messer. Batting fifth, the designated hitter, number 7, Jackson Donato. Batting sixth, the third baseman, number 11, Robbie White. Batting seventh, the second baseman, number 2, Anthony Moretti. Batting eighth, the center fielder, number 5, Tyler King. Batting ninth, the right fielder, number 8, Pete May. And just playing the field today, the left fielder, number 4, Nathan Levy. Head coach of the Framingham High baseball team is Matt Milano. And now let's give the starting lineup for the Brookline High Warriors. Leading off, the second baseman, number 5, Keenan Sawada. Batting second, the third baseman, number 8, Ben Doctoroff. Batting third, the center fielder, number 14, Harrison Siegel. Batting cleanup, the pitcher, number 9, Elias Brendel. Batting fifth, the first baseman, number 13, Felix Ham. Batting sixth, the right fielder, number 11, Nico Hart. Batting seventh, the left fielder, number 15, Owen Hoffman. Batting eighth, the catcher, number 17, Avery Melton. And batting ninth, the shortstop, number 21, Hugh Bollinger. Head coach of the Brookline High baseball team is Brendan O'Connor. Teams are about to take the field for the top of the first inning. I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan. You are watching Brookline High Baseball. That's in there, strike 3. Engelman puts them down in order. This one lifted out to left. It's caught! Harrison Siegel with the sliding grab. Hits it. It skips past the third baseman. In comes Brendel. Melton wins it for Brookline. All right. We will very soon be getting this underway. Brookline soon to take the field. For the top of the first inning. Few spitting raindrops out here at Warren, and another reason I can't wait for us to get deeper into the spring is this tree right above me will fill out and provide a little more coverage from the rain. Head coaches appear to be talking with the officials. So a couple of interesting positions of note for Brookline. First off, the shortstop, Hugh Bollinger, a freshman, making his high school baseball debut today as the team's starting shortstop and batting ninth in the order. That should be very exciting to see. You know, we've seen in past years guys who are late season call-ups from the freshman team, guys like James Dieltrand-Erickson and Felix Ham. But this is really the first time we've seen a freshman come up this early in the season, so that should be interesting. Also of note, as we get ready to pull up the stats, is the guy on the mound, Elias Brendel. You see I've put up his stats from last season. Last year, he appeared in 4 games with 1 start, had an 0-2 record, pitched 13.2 innings over those 4 appearances, finished with a 2.56 ERA, which led all pitchers with at least 10 innings pitched that season, had a 1.83 whip and 12 strikeouts. But most interestingly is that he actually left yesterday's game at Waltham with an injury after he crashed into the right field fence out in Waltham at Yetton Field. Came off the field with a bloody nose. He appears to be okay enough to be put on the hill for his second pitching appearance of this season, as he came in to close out that win over Newton South, got himself the save with 1 shutout inning of work. But also of note, another player who left that game with an injury after crashing into the fence was first baseman Adam Rosenblatt, and he is not playing today. So, you know, I haven't heard any updates about his status, but not seeing him here today. You know, it's not a good feeling not seeing him here. I, you know, obviously wish we were seeing him out there on the field. Hope he's okay and hope he can come back soon. And, you know, from a pure baseball perspective, you know, losing a starting first baseman can be tricky to adapt to. They've put Felix Ham, their starting shortstop, at first base, and such a critical position, especially this early in the year where teams are still sharpening out the edges, especially defensively. You know, it's cold. It's, you know, harder to secure the ball and get it to fly the way you want. You know, having a good first baseman that can help absorb, you know, some of the slightly off throws from your infielders can be huge. It can be game-changing. I mean, just for one example of how game-changing it can be to have just a slight edge defensively like that. So far, through the first 2 games, Brookline has given up 11 runs. Only 4 of them have been earned, according to the team's official Game Changer account. So we'll see what these teams have in store for us here today as we are getting started with the top of the first inning. Leading off for Framingham, the pitcher, number 35, Jeremy Oren. First pitch of the day is high for ball 1. And if I recall from past seasons, Jeremy Oren is a guy you don't want to put on the base paths. If I recall correctly, he's got some wheels as that one hits the zone for strike 1. Makes contact but fouls it down the third base side, strike 2. That one outside, ball 2. Brendel really working the outside of the plate so far in this at bat. And that one is low for ball 3. So we got a full count to start the game. Catches the corner, strike 3. Big strikeout pitch to start the first inning for Brendel. Like I said, Oren is a guy you want to keep off the base paths, so avoiding giving him a free pass is huge to start as he misses this first pitch high to the shortstop, number 6, Jace Coleman. Next one outside, ball 2. That one hits the zone, strike 1. 2-1, the count to Coleman. Swing and a miss there, strike 2. And time called just as Brendel was starting to wind up there. And that one missed outside. Possible Coleman might have iced him with that timeout. If so, a clever move there to draw a full count. Hard hit out to center field. Siegel on his horse and tracks it down. Just short of the wall. Good contact from Coleman, but just hung in the air for too long. So 2 down. And up comes the first baseman, number 10, J.J. Blanchard. First one curves in, strike one. That one in the dirt, ball one. That one high and outside, ball two. This one's a grounder over to short, fielded by Bollinger, thrown to first, scooped off the ground. Oh, but not in time. Blanchard legs it out to first for the infield single. The freshman shortstop gets tested, and J.J. Blanchard legs it out to the bag. It was cleanly fielded and a decent throw to first and a nice scoop off the dirt by Felix Ham at first base. But J.J. Blanchard brought the wheels and keeps the inning alive. Now batting the catcher, number 9, Lucas Messer. This one high, ball one. This one hard hit past the shortstop and into left field. Bollinger was playing closer to the middle. Probably maybe expecting a fastball from Brendel that would force Messer to fall a little behind and go the opposite way, but he pulled that one well to get another 2-out single. Now batting the designated hitter, number 7, Jackson Donato. And he lifts the first pitch he sees out to center field. Siegel under it, and he's got it for out number 3. So Framingham puts a bit of a threat together late in the top of the first, but ultimately leaves 2 runners stranded. Now the Framingham pitcher, Jeremy Oren, takes the hill. Brookline set to have their first turn at the plate. It'll be Sawada, Doctoroff, and Siegel due up for the Warriors. We've got a note in the live chat from a Framingham fan, from Mickey Murphy. Go Framingham Flyers from Los Angeles, California, from the Moretti Fan Club. Referring, of course, to the Framingham starting second baseman, Anthony Moretti. Happy to see you tuning in, Mickey, and I hope and expect that the weather is better out in your neck of the woods. than it is out here. As I don't know how much of the wind you guys are able to hear with the wind guard I've got on my mic, but it is whipping a bit out here with some spit and rain. But the game marches on. Leading off for Brookline, the second baseman, number 5, Keenan Sawada, as he takes the first pitch for strike one. Sawada so far this season 1 for 5 with 2 walks, 1 steal, and 1 run scored. That one's going to miss, ball 1. Makes contact and snagged by Blanchard at first. J.J. Blanchard took advantage of his long legs on the base paths in the top half of the first for that infield single, and he takes advantage of his length there to make a stab at that hard grounder up the line and get the first out of the inning. That one in there for strike one to the third baseman, number 8, Ben Doktoroff. This one fouled off, strike 2. And that's going to be a check swing foul. Count remains 0-2. And he was behind that pitch, but managed to get a piece of it. Stays alive at 0-2. Doktoroff 1 for 5 so far this season with a team-high 3 stolen bases. Makes contact right at Blanchard. J.J. Blanchard busy in this first inning as he secures out number 2. Now batting, center fielder, number 14, Harrison Siegel. First one misses, ball 1. Siegel so far this year 1 for 4, 2 walks, 1 hit by pitch, 1 steal, and 1 run scored. 2-0 now the count. Hard contact here, and that's going to bounce between the middle infielders and into center field. Harrison Siegel with a 2-out single. Now batting, the pitcher, number 9, Elias Brendel. First pitch misses, ball 1. Brendel 0 for 2 with a team leading 4 walks to go with 1 steal and 1 run. Takes an inside ball 2. Important to keep an eye on Siegel at first as he's taking a noticeable lead. But right now, Brendel getting a real hitter's count here. 3-0 now the count as that one missed outside. And that one misses as well. It's a 4-pitch walk to Elias Brendel. Now coming up, the first baseman, number 13, Felix Ham. That one's going to miss low, ball one. Felix Ham so far this season 1 for 6 with a walk and a team-leading 2 RBI, as he had that big 2-run single against Newton South. That ended up being the difference maker in that 3-1 win. 1-1, now the count. Siegel at second, Brendel at first, 2 down in the bottom of the first. And that's going to be a strike, whether that was in the zone or whether Ham went around. Either one. Runner taking off, and Ham swings and whiffs. Both teams mirror each other. 2 quick outs, 2 base runners get on, and the 2 runners get stranded. At the end of 1, we are scoreless here at Warren Field. Due up for Framingham in the second inning will be the 6, 7, 8 hitters, White, Moretti, and King. Leading off for the Flyers here on the top of the second, the third baseman, number 11, Robbie White. Oops. There we go. First pitch catches the high corner, strike 1. That one is low for ball 1. Brendel takes a beat. That one is high for ball 2. Another one high, ball 3. We've seen 3 high pitches, 1 in the zone, and 1 low pitch so far to White. Now facing a 3-1 count. And misses another one high, ball 4. So a leadoff walk for Robbie White. And with a runner on first, up comes the second baseman, number 2, Anthony Moretti. That one in there, strike one. Hard hit right at the shortstop, blocked by Bollinger. Picks it up and throws to first, and everyone reaches. So 2 straight runners reach. That one either an infield single or an E6. Either way, runners at first and second, nobody out. And we got a bunt, but he pulls back, ball 1. This is the center fielder, number 5, Tyler King, up at the plate with 2 runners on, trying to move the runners. Shows bunt again, pulls back again. That's going to be ball 2. Shows it again, squares it up, drops it, foul. Melton scooped it up just before it rolled into fair territory, which is very big because with how awkward that thing dropped, if that rolled fair, that was looking like it could be a bunt single. Lays down the bunt, stays fair this time. Ham picks it up, throws to Sawada at first. And King does his job with the sac bunt. Now batting with runners at second and third and 1 out, the right fielder, number 8, Pete May. First pitch in there, strike 1. Chase that one low, strike 2. That one is high for ball 1. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Big strikeout for Brendel. 2 down now. And we cycle around to the top of the order with the pitcher, number 35, Jeremy Oren. Oren went down on strikes his last time up. Now at the plate in a much bigger situation. Runners at second and third, 2 out. First pitch just misses, ball 1. That one's going to miss high, ball 2. And that one misses. High ball 3. Granted, they do have a base to give in this situation, and a walk would create a force everywhere. But still. That one in the zone, strike 1. Hard hit out to center, and that's going to drop in. At least one run will score. Runners coming around third, and he beats the throw home. 2 runs in. Or was that? Yes, 2 runs in off the single up center by Jeremy Oren. Oops. Sorry about that. Now batting, the shortstop, number 6, Jace Coleman. Runner at second, 2 down as he took strike 1. That one in there, strike 2. And goes around for that one, strike 3. But Framingham first on the board off the big 2-run single by Jeremy Oren. Driving in Robbie White and Anthony Moretti for the game's first score. Going into the bottom of the second, Framingham 2, Brookline 0. Brookline's 6, 7, 8 hitters will be coming up: Hart, Hoffman, and Melton. Now it is officially raining hard enough that I have to take off my coat and throw it over my laptop. Oren back on the mound for Framingham. And so now with me having to cover my laptop to protect it from the rain, it's going to be tougher for me to see your notes in the live chat. Still send your messages if you got them. But just note it may take a while for me to get to them. Might take until this rain dies down. But now batting for Brookline, the left fielder, number 11, Nico Hart. First pitch misses, ball 1. That one in there, strike 1. That That one, strike two. Connects, lifts it high, out to shallow center, and it's caught for out number one. Now batting, the right fielder, number 6, Owen Hoffman. He hits a dribbler up the third base line, rolls foul. Hoffman so far this season 0 for 6 with a walk as he takes ball one there. Takes strike two there. And that one is in there for strike three. Jeremy Oren. 2 quick outs and a quick strike to the catcher, number 17, Avery Melton. That one low for ball one. That one low for ball two. That one just misses ball three. 3-1 the count to Melton. And that one's going to miss low, ball four. Now batting the shortstop, number 21, Hugh Bollinger. That one is in there, strike one. Hits a grounder, juggled by Oren, picked up, thrown to first, in time for out number three. So we are through two here at Warren. What the? Sorry about that. We are through two here at Warren. Our score at the end of two, Framingham Flyers 2, the Brookline Warriors 0. Due up in the top of the third will be the 3, 4, 5 hitters for Framingham, Blanchard, Messer, and Donato. And the rain continues to pick up around here. Not to the point that they would think about canceling this ball game, but just to the point that it makes our broadcast a little trickier, and I apologize for that. Leading off for Framingham, the first baseman, number 10, J.J. Blanchard. First pitch gonna miss, ball one. That one misses as well, ball two. Slices that one foul, strike one. Swing and a miss there, strike two. 2-2, now the count to Blanchard. That one just outside, ball three. And that one hangs on him and comes in high, ball four. Leadoff runner on first. Now up comes the catcher, number 9, Lucas Messer. Blanchard started to take off and stopped. Might have caused Brendel to throw that high ball one. This one sliced foul. This one is high. 2-1 the count. Hard hit out to left field. That is a fair ball going up the left field line. Blanchard racing to third. Messer down to second. Blanchard rounding third, heading for home, and he is going to score. An RBI double for Lucas Messer gives Framingham the 3-0 lead. Now coming up, the designated hitter, number 7, Jackson Donato, as they're having a meeting at the mound with Brendel. After getting out of the jam in the first, it's been a tough past couple innings. Gave up that 2-run single to Jeremy Oren when when he was so close to getting out of that jam. And now this inning starting off with a walk and then an RBI double. Good time to go out to your pitcher and just settle him down a bit as they go for a pickoff attempt, but Messer dives back safely. Shows bunt but pulls back. So that'll be ball one. Shows bunt, lays it down. Picked up by Brendel, thrown to first. And that'll be out number one. Now batting, the third baseman, number 11, Robbie White. That one catches the outside corner, strike one. One out, runner at third. This one in the dirt, ball one. That one hits the zone for strike two. Fouls that one off, stays alive at 1-2. This one sliced foul, and again, White stays alive. White, his last time up, managed to draw a walk and later scored the game's first run. Now he's hoping to bring in a run here with Messer at third, as that one's going to miss for ball two. Swing and a miss, strike three. And I think for a brief second there, it looked like Melton might have thought there were 3 outs. But he quickly realized his mistake there. Now with 2 down and a runner at third, up comes the second baseman, number 2, Anthony Moretti. And he lifts one over the second baseman into shallow center. It's another 2-out RBI hit for the Flyers as Moretti drives in Messer. Now batting, center fielder number 5, Tyler King. Takes high, ball one. Last time up, King laid down a sac bunt. Obviously not going to do that here with 2 down. As he takes high, ball two. Swing and a miss there. Two and one the count. That one inside. Ball 3. This one's a high hopper to third, tracked down by Doctoroff in foul territory. Full count, 2 outs, runner at first here in the top of the third. Runner takes off, and the pitch catches the inside corner, strike 3. Framingham puts 2 more on the board. And they move to the bottom of the third inning with a 4-0 lead. And it'll be the top of the Brookline order coming up to the plate here in the bottom of the third to face Oren. And really some strong clutch hitting from the Flyers so far. 3 of their 4 runs driven in with 2 outs. You know, they say about a lot of different sports about the game of inches. But, you know, you think about how close this game could be to just being a 1-0 ball game instead of a 4-0 ball game. You know, you just take 2 swings of the bat, that 2-run single by Oren, and that bloop single to shallow center by Anthony Moretti. That's 3 of their 4 runs, and if those hits had instead gone into a glove, those innings would have ended there. Keenan Sawada fouls off the first pitch. Sawada came close to getting a leadoff single his first time up, but good fielding by J.J. Blanchard at first kept the Brookline leadoff man off the bags as he takes ball 1 on that pitch. That one drops into the zone, strike 2. Hard hit, grounder over to short, fielded, thrown to first, beats him by a step. Coleman and Blanchard just barely beat out the speedy Sawada to first for the first out of the inning. Now up the third baseman, number 8, Ben Doctoroff. He hits a grounder right at third, fielded by White, thrown to first, and 2 quick outs to start the inning. Now batting, the center fielder, number 14, Harrison Siegel. First pitch, check swing, grounder over to second, fielded by Moretti, thrown to first, and it'll be a 1-2-3 inning, 6-3, 5-3, 4-3 groundouts. Put the Warriors down in order in a quick bottom of the third inning. We are through 3 here at Warren Field. Our score at the end of 3, the Framingham Flyers 4, the Brookline Warriors 0. It'll be the 9-1-2 hitters coming up for Framingham, and they'll be facing a new pitcher as number 21, Hugh Bollinger, takes over on the mound for Brendel. Felix Ham will take Bollinger's spot at short, and Brendel will take Ham's spot at first. This will mark the high school pitching debut for Bollinger. In the meantime, Brendel finishes with 3 innings of work, 4 runs allowed. I'll double check later to see how many of those were earned. And unless Brookline makes a comeback, he will be credited with the loss. Like I said, it's tough. Did a good job getting out of the jam in the first inning, but then couldn't escape the jam in the second inning, giving up that 2-run single to Oren. And then in the third, it was a couple of big hits, that RBI double by Messer down the line, and then the bloop single by Moretti, both of them just inches away from a completely different result, like, maybe a foot or two to the left, and that double by Messer would have been a foul ball. And, a foot or two shallower, and that single by Moretti might have been caught by Sawada for the third out of the inning. But still, even as close as some of these results might have been to going Brookline's way, you got to give credit to Framingham and the job they've done offensively, particularly with 2 outs. As I mentioned, 3 of their 4 runs scoring with 2 outs. But now it's Bollinger's time on the hill. Leading off, the right fielder, number 8, Pete May. First ball is in the dirt for ball 1. And another one in the dirt, ball 2. If I've said it once, I've said it a million times. It can be so difficult getting into a groove as a relief pitcher in the high school game. There aren't specialists at this level. This isn't the lone thing they train for, and it's such a difficult job when you don't specialize in it. Three and 0, the count to May. That one down Broadway for strike 1. Swing and a miss, strike 2. That one just misses. And it'll be a free pass to first for May. Now we cycle back to the top of the order with the pitcher, number 35, Jeremy Oren. First pitch inside, ball 1. Oren 1 for 2 so far today with a strikeout and a 2-run single. Pickoff attempt at first, and May gets back safely. That pitch is ball 2. That one is high, ball 3. So the second straight batter that's gotten a 3-0 count from Bollinger. Like I said, tough coming in as a reliever in the high school game, even more so as a freshman making your debut and on a pretty bad day weather-wise. As that's going to be a 4-pitch walk for Oren. So back-to-back walks to start. And now a meeting at the mound with Bollinger. In the meantime, we do have a couple notes in the live chat I'd like to try and catch up on, now that we got a bit of a break. From John Knight, go White from Florida, good job Framingham, referring, of course, to Robbie White, Framingham third baseman, and then from a familiar name, Brookline High alum Don L. O'Neill, a very simple sup, Jesse. As this one is dropped down, successful sac bunt from Coleman moves the runners. Now, with 1 out, runners at second and third, up comes the first baseman, number 10, J.J. Blanchard. First pitch outside, ball 1. That one's going to miss as well, ball 2. Infielders pulled in. We saw Moretti being able to take advantage of the pulled-in infielders. And this one lined right at Brendel. Nice catch by Elias Brendel. That'll be out number 2. Now up the catcher, number 9, Lucas Messer, and they're just going to give him the intentional walk. So now with the bases loaded and 2 down, up comes the designated hitter, number 7, Jackson Donato. First pitch is a grounder. Gets past Brendel, picked up by Sawada, flips it with his glove to first. And they get out of the jam with no score. Not a bad play by Keenan Sawada to back up his first baseman. First, just the good fundamentals to be in that spot. And then a little bit of some highlight-worthy moves. Flipping it from his glove straight to first to get it to Bollinger for out number 3. So despite back-to-back leadoff walks, Framingham not able to get on the board. So we move to the bottom of the fourth. The score still Framingham 4, Brookline 0. It'll be Brendel, Ham, and Hart due up for the Warriors. And during this break in the middle of the fourth inning, I'd like to take a moment to direct your attention to a helpful link at the top of the description section of this video. You can find a link to the official PayPal account of the At Bat for Brookline Booster Club, the official booster club of Brookline High Baseball. So if you would like to donate some money to support the Brookline High Baseball program, you can do so by following that link in the description section. Oren back on the hill for the Flyers for his fourth inning of work. And as the rain continues to fall, and so far still light enough that it doesn't threaten the game, but if it ramps up in intensity, it's important to note that after 4 complete innings, a game has gone on long enough that it can be considered finished if it gets called due to weather. First pitch to Elias Brendel misses, ball 1. That one is going to miss for ball 2. There's ball 3. That one in the zone. That is the first strike that's been thrown to Brendel so far today. And he lines a shot out to left. That's going to drop in for a single. So first base hit of the year for Brendel, who's mostly just been a walk king through the first couple of games. Now he stands at first. Now up the shortstop, number 13, Felix Ham. He hits a dribble over to third, takes a weird hop, and it's juggled by White, and Ham reaches. So they're probably going to score that one in E5, which is tough for Robbie White because of just what a weird hop that took. But, I mean, that's kind of a risk you take when you're playing on grass in bad weather. Now batting, the left fielder, number 11, Nico Hart. Hart shows bunt, pops a bunt up the third base side, foul. Brookline trying to get 2 runners in scoring position for Hoffman. But got to get the bunt in play. Shows bunt again, whiffs on it. And a throw back to second. Brendel gets back safely. But now with 2 strikes, Hart's going to be forced to swing. And a bit of a delayed swing fouls that one off. Hart stays alive at 0-2. And another slightly delayed swing. Hart batting defensively here, staying alive at 0-2. Brendel at second, Ham at first. And that one is low for ball one. And he hits a weird bouncer. That's going to be foul up the first base line. And again, Hart stays alive. 1-2 still the count. And high bouncer gets past the pitcher, barehanded by the shortstop. Throw gets away from the first baseman, and a run is going to come in. Brendel in to score. Brookline on the board. I mean, we'll see whether they score that. That was definitely a throwing error by the shortstop, so Hart probably going to simply be credited with a reach-on error. But Brendel comes in to score. Ham down to third. And now, with runners at the corners, and a 4-1 score now, nobody out. Coming up is the right fielder, number 15, Owen Hoffman. Oren gonna stay on the mound. It's an interesting situation with runners at the corners and nobody out. They might try for the double steal. We'll see what they decide to do. Hoffman goes for the bunt. It's a squeeze at the plate. Got him at the plate. Brookline tried to go for the suicide squeeze, but the glove flip from Oren to Messer gets Ham at the plate. The 1-2 fielder's choice. Now one out in the inning, runners at first and second. First pitch to Melton, misses, ball one. That one is low for ball two, well covered by Messer. Keeps the base runners where they are. Melton hits a hard one over to second, flipped second for one, on to first. They complete the 4-6-3 double play, and that ends the inning. So Brookline able to get one run on the board, but just one. Through four. The score now, the Framingham Flyers 4, the Brookline Warriors 1. At this break, at the end of the fourth inning, I'd like to take a moment for a local charity spotlight and tell you about the Brookline Food Pantry. The Brookline Food Pantry provides groceries to Brookline residents in need of food assistance. The pantry saw a huge increase in demand for food assistance at the start of COVID, and that number has remained steadily high ever since. The food pantry has been serving an average of 650 households each week, more than 4 times the rate of families served pre-COVID. Brookline Food Pantry is fighting the good fight against hunger in our community, and they are always looking for more people willing to lend a hand, whether through monetary donations, direct food donations, or volunteers in the pantry. Food donations can be made at United Parish at 210 Harvard Street in Brookline on Wednesdays and Fridays from 9:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Monetary donations can be made online at the food pantry's website, brooklinefoodpantry.org. Go online or call 617-800-5339 for more information about how you can volunteer and help the Brookline Food Pantry to feed your community. Once again, that's brooklinefoodpantry.org or call 617-800-5339. And you can find all that same information in the description section down below. So it'll be White, Moretti, and King coming up for the Flyers here in the top of the fifth, as Bollinger returns to the mound for Brookline. Now batting the third baseman, number 11, Robbie White. First pitch, slices it foul out of play. That one in the zone, strike two. Lifts this one high to right center. Caught by Siegel for out number one. Sorry if I lost it with the camera there. It's a bit of a tough angle for me to see where the camera was pointed. Normally, I'd be able to see by looking at my laptop screen to help me, but with my coat thrown over it, not so much. And Moretti fouls this one off for strike one. Hard grounder here, juggled by Ham. Throw gets away, and Moretti is going to race down to second. Melton picks it up, throws down to second, but Moretti beats the throw. Good backup job by Melton to try and catch the runner advancing on the error, but he does make it. Looks like Coach O'Connor appealing the call briefly, as Moretti gets to second on an E6. So one down, runner at second. Up comes the center fielder, number 5, Tyler King, and he takes strike one. That one low, ball one. Hard hit grounder right at Doctoroff, holds the runner, throws to first, out at first, runner trying to get down to third, and they caught him at third! Brookline turns two to end the inning. What do we call that? A 5-3-5, I think? We move to the bottom of the fifth now. Score still 4-1. It'll be Bollinger, Sawada, and Doctoroff coming up for Brookline. And it looks like we have a new pitcher on the mound for the Flyers. Just give me a moment while I try and fish out my roster. This is number 21, Jack Maud, taking over on the mound for Jeremy Oren. In the meantime, Oren has moved out to center field, and King out to left. So presumably there'll be no change in the batting order for Framingham. And we'll see how Maud handles in relief. Oren finishes with 4 innings pitched, 1 unearned run. And having pitched 4 innings, if Framingham holds on to this lead the rest of the way, he will be credited with the pitching win. Bollinger lifts this one out to right, but it's right at May. Dropped it! He dropped it! Bollinger taking off for second base. Hugh Bollinger leads off with a 2-base error. Now batting, the second baseman, number 5, Keenan Sawada. First pitch gonna miss, ball 1. That one misses, ball 2. Two and 0 the count to Sawada. Runner at second, nobody out. That one misses as well, ball 3. And it's a 4-pitch walk for Sawada. So 2 runners on to start the inning for Brookline. And a brief timeout for Framingham. to talk to their new pitcher. You know, we saw it a bit with Bollinger when he first came out in relief for Brookline. He gave up back-to-back walks where he was struggling to find the zone. Maud starting out first with a two-base reach-on error after the ball was dropped in right field, and then a walk. Now stepping up to the plate for Brookline, the third baseman, number 8, Ben Doktoroff. Shows bunt, fouls it off. We saw Brookline fail to lay down a sac bunt earlier with Nico Hart, but that ended up working out for them as Hart was able to reach on the E6, and Brendel was able to score on that play, give them their first run. Pulls back the bunt and ends up taking strike 2. So once again, the sac bunt strategy does not work for Brookline, and Doktoroff will be forced to swing away. Fouls that one off. Stays alive. Defensive swing there keeps him in it. Count still 0-2. And that one way high. Good tracking by Messer to keep that from turning into a wild pitch. Instead, it'll be a simple ball 1. 1-2 the count. Hits it, hard grounder up the middle, tracked at second. They got one, can't get the second. So a fielder's choice gets Sawada at second, advances Bollinger to third. Runners now at the corners with one out, as up comes the center fielder, number 14, Harrison Siegel. Siegel pops this one foul and out of play. Doktoroff takes off for second, and the ball's in the dirt, so Doktoroff will simply get the steal standing up. Runners now at second and third. That one just missed. 2-1 the count. Bollinger at third, Doktoroff at second, one out here in the bottom of the 5th. That one just misses outside, ball 3. A 3-1 hitters count for Siegel. And it's a low ball 4. Siegel draws the free pass and loads the bases. Now coming up, the first baseman, number 9, Elias Brendel. Tying run at first with one down here in the bottom of the 5th. Brendel skies this one. And just out of reach for Blanchard. It was a sky-high ball, very tough to track. And so that'll simply be strike one. I mean, I give Blanchard credit for staying with it as long as he did, because, I mean, I looked at that ball and I thought for sure it was just going to hit the trees and just be completely unplayable. So it falls as a simple foul ball, strike one. That ball inside. Hits a grounder past the first baseman. Fair ball. Runs coming in. One's in. Two's in. Down to second. A two-run double for Elias Brendel. I mean, they might categorize that as a single. Let's watch the replay on that one. Oh, I'm going to need to set my replay parameters longer than what I've got it as. But a huge hit for Brendel as he drives in Bollinger and Doctoroff. Siegel down to third. And now, unbelievably, Brookline right back in this ball game. And they're going to pull Jack Maud off the mound. Now on the hill for Framingham will be number 26. Give me a moment while I check my roster. Number 26, Carlos Morales. So Morales takes over for Maud. Maud lasts 1/3 of an inning. Gives up 2 runs. One of them, at least one of them unearned. And I say at least 2 runs allowed because he is credited with the 2 runners still on the base paths, Siegel and Brendel. So if they come in to score, those will be credited to Maud. And if both come in, credited to Maud, and Brookline ends up taking the lead, and perhaps even the win, then Maud would be credited with the loss. So a huge chance for Brookline here. And the one with the huge chance to tie or even break this game open is the shortstop, number 13, Felix Ham. First pitch, big swing and a miss, strike one. Siegel, the tying run at third. Brendel, the go-ahead run at second. 1 out. That one in the zone, strike 2. Chases it low, strike 3. Two down now. But still a chance for the left fielder, number 11, Nico Hart. First pitch, and he skies it into shallow left. Shortstop's under it, and he's got it. And Framingham gets out of the inning still ahead. So at the end of 5, we have a much closer game than we had before. Framingham 4, Brookline 3. And it'll be May, Oren, and Coleman coming up in the top of the 6th for Framingham. Brookline going to stick with Bollinger on the mound. He's been very effective since taking over for Brendel back in the 4th inning. 2 shutout innings of relief so far have kept Brookline in the game after falling behind 4-0. And do my eyes deceive me, or do I see a bit of sunshine poking through the clouds out here at Warren? Oh my goodness. Somebody put on the Beatles, because here comes the sun. Top of the 6th, leading off, the right fielder, number 8, Pete May. First pitch, and he pops it high. Out to shallow right, and it's caught by Sawada for out number 1. Now up, the center fielder, number 35, Jeremy Oren. First pitch in there, strike 1. That pitch outside, ball 1. That one outside as well, ball 2. And that one's going to be high for ball 3. If you can avoid it, you don't want to put Oren on the base paths without a runner in front of him. Swing and a miss, strike 2. Full count to Oren. Hits a hard grounder, snagged by Sawada, thrown to first, out number 2. Two down to start the top of the 6th. Now up, Shortstop, number 6, Jace Coleman. First pitch, hits a hard grounder, right at who else but Sawada. He juggles it, recovers, throws to first, not in time. And Coleman legs it out to reach on the E4. Now up the first baseman, number 10, J.J. Blanchard. Runner at first, 2 down. Throw back to first, check on Coleman. He dives back. Swing and a miss. Fooled him with the low dipping curve. Strike 1. Throw back to first again, and again Coleman able to dive back safely. He's taking a sizable lead off of first. That pitch comes in low, ball 1. Hard grounder over to second again, and again it skips past Sawada. Coleman racing down to third. The throw down to third is not going to be in time, and Blanchard advances to second on the throw. So that puts runners at second and third. That's one I'm going to have to check to see whether they score it as a hit or an E4. It was potentially playable by Sawada, but it was a hard hit ball. So you could easily give an error or a base hit. And once again, Brookline opting to give the intentional walk to Messer to load the bases for Jackson Donato. First pitch in there, strike 1. We've seen this strategy work out once before for the Warriors. As Donato lines this one, fielded by Sawada, thrown to second. And despite missing a couple of tough plays, Sawada does make the third out. He collects all 3 for Brookline, as again they keep Framingham off the board. Going into the bottom of the 6th, it'll be the bottom of the order coming up for Brookline, Hoffman, Melton, and Bollinger. As Brookline has 2 innings left to try and make up what is currently a 1-run deficit. Morales back on the mound for another inning of relief work. He took over midway through the 5th inning and was able to keep the runners he inherited from Jack Maud from scoring and keep Framingham ahead 4-3. Rain seems to have let up for the moment. which I'm very happy about, so I'm going to see if I can get away with putting my coat back on. More importantly, be able to see my laptop screen so I don't have to go under the hood every time I update the scoreboard. All right, here we go. Leading off for Brookline in the bottom of the 6th, the right fielder, number 15, Owen Hoffman. That one misses, ball 1. That one in the zone, strike 1. 1-1 the count. That one is high. That one low and in, ball 3. And that is going to be a leadoff walk for Hoffman. Morales came on in the 6th inning and worked he came on in the 5th inning and worked very efficiently, got 2 outs in just 4 pitches. All 4 of them strikes, but there issues a 5-pitch walk to Hoffman. Now batting the catcher, number 17, Avery Melton. He shows bunt, pulls back, and Hoffman leapt over the tag. The Framingham coach, Matt Milano, going to come out and appeal to the official on that one, and I don't blame him for asking for an appeal, as that was a miraculous dive by Hoffman. If they confirm that he was safe, which it appears they have. Brookline very lucky to still have a runner at first after the attempted bunt blew up there. And they pull back on the bunt again, ball 2. 2-0 the count. And once again, the bunt strategy not working out so straightforwardly for Brookline. They pull it back, and this time it's a strike. 2-1 the count. This time the pitch comes in over Melton's head, and that's ball 3. Pulls back, ball 4. Brookline attempting to lay down the sac bunt, instead gets another free pass. The tying run now in scoring position. The go-ahead run on first. Up comes the pitcher, number 21, Hugh Bollinger, as Coach Matt Milano comes out to talk with Morales. Early on, it seemed like Framingham was firmly in control of this game as they shot out to an early 4-0 lead. But since Bollinger took over on the mound, the Framingham offense has not been able to get across home plate. And the Brookline offense has started mounting pressure as we've got another Framingham pitching change. As number 11, Robbie White, moving over from third base to take over on the mound. So Morales lasts 2/3 of an inning. No runs allowed as of yet, but he is credited with the 2 runners he leaves on base, Hoffman and Melton. Morales going to simply take White's spot at third. Simple 1-for-1 switch. Rain hasn't cleared up completely. Still a few spitting raindrops, and it seems like that spot of sunshine was just a spot. Now Bollinger steps into the box. And White steps off the rubber to check on the runners. Bollinger showing bunt, lays it down, rolls foul. Brookline still going with the bunt strategy. Oh, 0-1 the count to Bollinger. Only got one more strike to give if he wants to try and bunt. Corner infielders pulled way in. Shows bunt, pulls back, and takes strike 2. Oh, 0-2 now the count to Bollinger. And so again, bunt strategy unsuccessful for Brookline. Bollinger going to be forced to swing. That one is high for ball 1. Swings, slices this one high into foul territory. Blanchard tracking it, and he's got it. So that will be out number 1. Now batting, second baseman, number 5, Keenan Sawada. Shows bunt, but pulls back, ball 1. That one is going to miss, ball 2. That one catches the inside corner, strike 1. 2-1 the count. That one's going to miss outside, ball 3. And that's ball 4. Sawada with his second walk of the day. And Brookline loads the bases with 1 out. Now up the third baseman, number 8, Ben Doctoroff. All infielders up on the grass. First pitch in there, strike 1. High intensity situation out here on a cold day in Warren. That one high and inside, ball 1. Hoffman, the potential tying run at third. Melton, the potential go-ahead run at second. 1 down here in the inning. Strike 2. One and 2, the count to Doctoroff. A hit to the outfield could completely flip the script. Right now, Framingham leads by 1. Here in the bottom of the 6th. White takes a beat and resets. Check swing foul. Doctoroff stays alive at 1 and 2. A ball to the outfield, even if it is caught, could potentially tie the game, as there is room for a sac fly. That one's high, ball 2. Rain's starting to pick up again out here in at Warren Field. 2 and 2, the count to Doctoroff. Brookline trailing by 1. And nerves of steel as Doctoroff looks at ball 3. A full count. And now White's got to be careful. 1 more ball and this game is tied. Swing and a miss. A huge strikeout get for Robbie White, as he picks up the second out of the inning. And now all eyes on the Brookline center fielder, number 14, Harrison Siegel. First pitch gets away from the catcher, but the runners hold. Well covered by Messer to prevent disaster. Check swing foul for Siegel. Bases loaded, 2 down here in the bottom of the 6th. Framingham 4, Brookline 3. Harrison Siegel at the plate trying to tie or potentially put Brookline ahead. Robbie White trying to get out of the jam and keep his team ahead, as the wind whips and the raindrops fall out here in Brookline. And that's going to be high for ball 2. Swing and a miss. 2-2, the count. Siegel. High and inside. Count is once again full. Full count, 2 outs, bases loaded, 1-run ball game here in the bottom of the 6th. Big payoff pitch here. Missed it, ball 4, we are tied. Harrison Siegel, unflappable as he stares down the potential inning-ending pitch and gets the bases loaded walk to tie the game. Hoffman in to score. We're tied at 4. Still bases loaded, 2 out. Now up the first baseman, number 9, Elias Brendel, and he fouls off pitch number 1. Brendel, who will no longer be credited for the pitching loss, as Brookline has come back and tied it. Now with a chance to give Brookline the lead. As he looks at ball 1 there. And that one's going to miss. Outside ball 2. Brendel got his first base hit of the year last at bat. Laced a single out to left. Now he hits a grounder, and it hops past Siegel. Picked up by Blanchard, thrown to first. Got him just barely in time. And Framingham escapes the jam, but not before Brookline ties it up. We are through 6 out here in Brookline, and we are tied going into the final inning of regulation. Going into the top of the 7th, the Brookline Warriors 4, the Framingham Flyers 4. Due up for Framingham will be White, Moretti, and King. Hugh Bollinger back for another inning of relief. And what an impact this freshman has made with his first appearance on the mound. So already got 3 shutout innings of relief under his belt. And he's trying for 1 more. As this is now just a matter of who takes the lead at the end of an inning first. Because if the teams end this 7th inning still tied, we will be going to extra innings. But if either team can take the lead and hold it to the end of the inning, in the case of Framingham, or in the case of Brookline, if they can just take the lead at all in the bottom half of the inning, then they will win. Boy, now I really wish it was better weather today. because I could be enjoying this game so much more than I already am. And I am already enjoying this game a great bit, but I'd be enjoying it so much more if I could still feel my fingers. First pitch to Robbie White, fouled off for strike one. That one in there, strike two. Swing and a miss. Bollinger caught him with the off speed. Now batting the second baseman, number 2, Anthony Moretti. First pitch hits the outside corner, strike one. Hits a hard grounder right back at Bollinger. Flips it to first for out number 2. Quick 2 outs to start the inning. And now we got a pinch hitter up in place of King as he takes strike one. Swing and a miss, strike two. And fouls it off, stays alive at 0-2. This pinch hitter is number 17, Ryan McAuliffe. Swing and a miss. More off-speed strikeouts from Hugh Bollinger. And he puts him down in order in the 7th. Now all Brookline needs is to get one run across, and they will win the game on a walk-off. The batters coming up to try and get the job done will be Ham, Hart, and Hoffman. The 3 H's due up as Robbie White returns to the mound for Framingham. And so we'll see if on this cold, wet, and miserable day, if the Brookline Warriors can end on a happy note here in the 7th. First up, the shortstop, number 13, Felix Ham. And he lifts the first pitch he sees out to center. That's going to drop in for a leadoff single. The winning run is on the bases. Is Brookline going to go to a pinch hitter or a pinch runner here? They're bringing in number 18, Ben Rosenblatt, as a pinch hitter for Nico Hart. Rosenblatt has shown an ability to lay down the sack bunt, and that might be what they're going for here. They might be trying to move Ham into scoring position. He does show bunt, but pulls back and takes ball one. Shows it pulls back again, ball two. Two and 0, the count to Ben Rosenblatt. Ham at first. Pickoff attempt, and Ham dives back safely. Another pickoff attempt, and Ham barely gets back that time. Three and 0 as Rosenblatt pulls back 3 times. On the verge of potentially drawing a walk. We've seen Brookline in the past draw a walk when showing bunt. Rosenblatt lays it down at the third base side, picked up, thrown to first, and Rosenblatt out, but he does his job and moves Ham into scoring position. Even with the potential for a walk, Rosenblatt knew the importance of moving the runner and not wasting a chance at laying down a good sack bunt. Now batting, the right fielder, number 15, Owen Hoffman. The winning run at second, 1 out, here in the bottom of the 7th. Hoffman lifts it out to right. And no good on the attempted diving catch by May out in right field. It'll simply be a foul ball. Great effort. Would have been a spectacular catch by May. Although it would have also run the risk of advancing Ham down to third. But as it stands, it'll simply be an 0-1 count. That one's low, ball one. And fouls that one to the backstop. 1-2 now the count. And whoa, the throw got away from the pitcher. But it went right to second base, so Ham wasn't going to take off. If there was a runner at third, that would have been a scenario where a runner might have taken off, but not when the runner's at second. One and two, the count to Owen Hoffman. 1 out, winning run at second. That one's high, ball two. Inside, ball three. Full count to Hoffman. Inside ball 4. Hoffman battles his way to a walk. That does create an extra force for a potential double play, so an extra risk. But up comes the catcher, number 17, Avery Melton. Melton hits a hard grounder over to third, gets past the third baseman, chased down by the shortstop, but that's going to be an infield single for Avery Melton to load the bases. Bases loaded. 1 out. And would you believe that the hero of the hour could be the freshman playing in his first high school baseball game? Hugh Bollinger steps to the plate. Bollinger fouls off the first pitch, strike 1. Bollinger has already put on a heroic performance on the mound, 4 shutout innings of relief. He could be the winning pitcher and winning hitter at the same time. Hits it! He wins it! Hugh Bollinger! Welcome to the Warriors! Brookline wins! A debut for the ages for Hugh Bollinger. 4 shutout innings on the mound and a game-winning walk-off single in the bottom of the 7th. Welcome to the land of high school baseball, Mr. Bollinger. We are happy to have you here. This is why I love covering high school ball. You never know what's going to happen. And you never know when you're going to get something amazing like a freshman coming in for his first game and not only delivering a heroic effort on the mound, but also making the heroic play at the plate. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. Brookline comes back from a 4-0 deficit and wins the game. Your final score, the Brookline High Warriors 5, the Framingham High Flyers 4. Brookline improves to 2-1 on the season with this walk-off win. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for tuning in today. I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan. Remember, if you enjoyed this live stream, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Brookline will be back in action on a projected to be much warmer Monday as they will go on the road to face Bay State Conference rival Natick. Be sure to stay tuned for that and plenty more Brookline High baseball action. Subscribing to the channel can help. Thank you to all those who brought the good vibes in the live chat today. If there's anything you'd like to say after the live stream is concluded, you can say it in the comments section down below. You can also go down below to the description section for some helpful links. A link to the official PayPal account for the At Bat for Brookline Booster Club, if you would like to support the Brookline High baseball program financially. Also a link and phone number for our local charity spotlight, the Brookline Food Pantry, if you would like to contribute some money to them. And some links related to me. My personal website, jessesports.com, if you want to find out more about me, the freelance sports broadcasting services that I provide to various teams, and how you can commission those services for your favorite team. Or if you want to skip past all that, you can just email me directly with any questions or requests you may have. And then below that, the URL for my Instagram account. You can follow me on Instagram, where I post highlights from previous live streams and then also post the live stream links for upcoming live streams. But for this live stream, that's going to do it. Brookline 5, Framingham 4, Hugh Bollinger, the winning pitcher on the mound and the winning batter at the plate, and the all-around winner in his high school debut. From Warren Field in Brookline, Massachusetts, I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan. Thank you all for watching, and enjoy the rest of your weekend.